Hi everyone, Victoria Cochrane here for the September Reaching Out Spiritual News's video blog, I guess you could call it. I've just been doing this for a few months now and I hope you're enjoying it. So the newsletter will come out today, and the theme of my September newsletter for 2022 is change. And change is as certain as death and taxes. I've heard it said many a time. But also change brings great uncertainty, and there are a lot of people in the world who really don't like change because of that. But change quite often has to happen, otherwise nothing changes. So what's happening for you, and how are things changing, and are they changing for the better or not? And in the newsletter it talks about embracing change and seeing the importance of it, but only if there's a reason for it. Change for change's sake is a bit like reinventing the wheel, isn't it, and doesn't really lead anywhere. But if it's revolutionary change or transitional change, then it will be for the better. I do know a lot of my clients at the moment are stuck in transition and nothing much seems to be working or changing. And that's when one has to kind of look below the surface, take it back to self, and think about what is it that I'm believing or thinking or putting out to the universe that is preventing me from change. And someone asked me the other day, do I have bad juju on me? And another client said, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that there's something there, either from this lifetime or a past lifetime, energetically, that's blocking you. And when you can find out what that is, which is not always easy, things will move. We're powerful co-creators, and what we put out to the universe is what we create, and we can really actually self-sabotage ourselves so much. But sometimes there are things there that we would never know are there, and that's where the healing that I do comes in, that I can look to see where it comes from, which part of your life or which lifetime, and start to resolve and release the trauma and the negative belief systems that could be holding you to it. I'm learning things all the time in this work and have seen some pretty amazing things and some horrendous things. But I really believe 100% in the power of the universe and in the unconditional love of the Creator, and that with 100% belief, which even I find difficult sometimes in a human body, anything is possible. So I asked these cards, Gaia Oracle by Tony Carmine Salerno of Blue Angel Publishing, about change, and this beautiful card came up, the Tree of Life. And it's fertility, creativity, destiny, magical blessings. So when change does happen, either to you, make it happen for you, and start to see that it's part of your lessons, part of your growth, and an opportunity to let go of what has been holding you back. And look, you know, I've heard some people say, look, we don't do it that way. Even kids at school will say, we don't do it that way. We do it this way. And I'll say, well, I'm the teacher today, we're going to do it this way. And they don't like it because change brings uncertainty. So when you've got a routine or a way of doing things that you feel comfortable in, then you feel safe. And so outside of that, we start to feel unsafe, don't we? Can we do this? Can we cope? You know, and we can't all have a crystal ball, and we can't be running to a psychic. I don't recommend it every 5 minutes, because no future's set in stone. Everything that we think we create, And our future is based on the decisions that we make, or that sometimes other people make for us. And so we can have the best intentions, or even have our lifetime kind of written down before we were born, but then there can be karmic intervention or some other kind of unexpected change that changes our course. And so when I give a reading, I always say, or I hope I remember to say, that this is not set in stone and this can be changed. And sometimes a reading that is unsettling can be a warning to you. It's an opportunity to change. And so that's one of my articles from the Masters in the newsletter this month, is creating the opportunity for change that creates a pathway that is more comfortable for you and that actually leads to better outcomes in the long run. And we do tend to think about the short term, don't we? But if you have big changes happening now, think about the long-term outcomes of them, and if they're not good, what can you change that's going to create better opportunities? And sometimes it's just perspective, sometimes it's letting something go, even letting friendship go. It depends on what it is, but it's never going to be easy. In terms of world and global change, well, let's face it, the world as we were living in it before the pandemic wasn't working, and there is so much there still that is just not ever going to make the world a bright and happy place to live. So let's relate it all to consciousness then. And if we, for argument's sake, say that God is a consciousness, then in that highest energy, how can we embrace and love and accept ourselves and who we are? And how can we love and accept others for who they are, warts and all? And actually then start to embrace the changes that have caused us to radically reassess our lives. And how can we now pave a pathway for the future that is not going to be full of war and violence and anger and turmoil? That will always be there, because a lot of people are just never going to change. They refuse to, because they think they're right. They think their religion is right. They're stuck in that. But how can we rise above all of that and change our perspectives and change our views to make our world and those around us a better place? And that's really just the food for thought that I want to give you today. The second card that I'm pulling then is Sacred Earth Mother. Remember that Mother Earth energetically has a beautiful heart that is reacting and responding to our hearts and to our energy. And so let's all connect to Mother Earth and bring that beautiful creator consciousness into that connection and start to be the change that we want to see in ourselves. And person by person, soul by soul, we can do it. And that just says it all, really. And the last one is the message: positive news, positive outcome. There's got to be positives. There's always blessings out of adversity. And as tough and as devastating and as horrendous as some of those things can be, there's always a lesson, there's always a message. And whatever's going on for you, there's a message there. If you can, just find a place to connect, to breathe, and to ask for help, and to give thanks for that, and to find something to be thankful for. You open up a little window, just a little chink of light, to see that there's hope. And I'm here to tell you that we're all in this together. And I'm sending that love and hope to you today. So I'd just like to read you something from my second book, Beyond Ascension 2012 Universal Truths. And it's called The Winds of Change. And this was written in 2012, and it does talk about ascension, which is a raising of consciousness above all of the third dimension and fourth dimension drama and ego-driven bull crap, pardon me, that's going on. So it says, because Mother Earth now sits in the fifth dimension, her frequencies are higher and her vibrations are faster. And so that's been happening for some time, but now it's crunch time. You know, there's no going back now. So if you're finding that things are really changing rapidly and you're a little bit out of whack, that is because the vibrations are much higher, and the opportunities for light to come into your chakras and to bring you to a higher consciousness are there. Grab it, do it, because we're all on this journey now into bringing our consciousness back into oneness and to really creating a much better world for ourselves. As I said, still amongst other people who are not changing, but it's just different paradigms, different consciousness, and everything that affects us, we have to get out of this illusion that we're all separate. Anything that happens to me or you affects the world. It goes out into the collective consciousness, and we're all responsible for what's going on. Okay? So she speaks of love and peace, not of hatred and war. Her vibrations will no longer tolerate the foibles of man. It is time for man to step out of the density of thinking that the third dimension, the thinking that is the third dimension, and take the leap of faith to consciously raise his vibrations and become one with Mother Earth. See this change as it is, as one of saving your planet from extinction. It has been a long time in the planning and has occurred due to a long reign of terror by humankind. We do not say this in jest. The plundering of Mother Earth by your kind has been fierce and rampant. There are those who would protest that they have done all they can to protect her, and we acknowledge this, but it has not been enough. The changes occurring in your weather patterns of late are no accident, nor are they all brought about from the same source. Many floods are a cleansing of negative energies such as corruption, greed and lies that have been told for personal gain. You cannot hold on to any wealth that has been attained through corruption. These energies cannot be tolerated in the fifth dimension. And not long after this, I think the global financial crisis happened. And some innocent people did lose their wealth, but it was corrupt wealth. So that's what happened. So it says change is for the better, and it has been a long time in the planning. There is no need to worry that the world would end, for after ascension life will continue fairly much as you have known it. Yet there will be many small changes that will become more noticeable as time wears on. A lot of people say after they've had a healing with me and they've actually raised their vibrations and that things they can see clearly and that the colours are brighter. And so people who are actively working on their spirituality, meditating, connecting, clearing their past trauma, actually letting go of hatred and revenge and negative emotions, are actually reporting to me that they are seeing things more clearly, that the colours are brighter, that they hear more clearly. And so that is the indication that they're raising their vibrations, and that is what happens. Okay, so the world is still the same, but it's our perception and it's our consciousness and it's our connection to all that is good and pure, and the pureness of the creator energy. So to end, one more card, random, is lost love. So surrender, healing and release, and it's really important now to let go of all the emotions that are clogging you up and holding you into negative thought patterns, old thought patterns, and negative emotions towards others and yourself, and to start to see a change in your ability to embrace the changes that are happening, to embrace yourself. Nobody's perfect, but in the energy of creation we're all perfect, and we just are. And to start to be the person that you want to be, to show the world the true you, and to start to see that we're all here together. And let's just do it. I am Victoria Cochrane. Please note that my website has changed. It's victoriacochrane.com.au, and I am in the process. If you've bought any books of mine, please note that those websites are wrong now. So much love to you all, and I'll see you next month. Bye for now.